Medellin cartel, a small group of men that in the last few years has formed a near monopoly on the processing and sale of cocaine. According to American officials, controlling as much as 80% of the world's supply.
At his peak, Escobar was making $420 million, making him one of the world's richest men. His cartel spent $2,500 a month just on rubber bands to bundle cash. Escobar was seen as a Robin Hood by many Colombians because he built hospitals, schools, and neighborhoods for the poor, winning their support despite his violent ways. His estate, Hacienda Nápoles, had a private airport, lakes, a bull ring, and even a zoo with elephants, giraffes, and hippos. These hippos, left behind after his death, now roam Colombia. In 1991, he surrendered under a deal to stay in his self-built luxury prison, La Catedral, which included a nightclub and a football field. He escaped when authorities tried to move him. Once, to keep his daughter warm, Escobar burned $2 million in cash. He even used custom submarines to smuggle cocaine. The U.S. and Colombian governments put hefty bounties on him. In 1980, he briefly entered politics but was expelled when his criminal past emerged. During the 1980s, Pablo Escobar launched a brutal campaign of violence known as narco-terrorism to fight against the Colombian government's efforts to extradite him to the United States. Escobar saw extradition as a death sentence and responded with unprecedented violence. He ordered the assassinations of key figures, including Justice Minister Rodrigo Lara Bonilla and presidential candidate Luis Carlos Galán, to eliminate his opponents. Escobar also orchestrated bombings, one of the most notorious being the bombing of Avianca Flight 203, killing all 107 passengers in an attempt to target a presidential candidate. To further pressure the government, he kidnapped influential figures, using them as leverage. Escobar's wealth allowed him to bribe officials and police, embedding corruption deeply into Colombian institutions. This campaign created a climate of fear, destabilizing the country and cementing Escobar's power, as people were too terrified to challenge him. His actions during this period exemplified his ruthless determination to maintain control and avoid extradition, at the cost of thousands of lives and national stability. Escobar's death in 1993 ended his reign, but his story lives on in pop culture, like the Netflix series Narcos. His life was a mix of ruthless crime and odd generosity, leaving a lasting impact on history.